I'm Rhett.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're the House Dads. Because we're dads who sell houses.
But we're also husbands, business owners, sports freaks, Christians.
Friends, marketing nerds, TV show bingers, and so many more things.
Like so many of you, we're just trying to do it all. We're trying to do it well.
And that's what we're here to talk about.
Welcome back. I almost said welcome. You've got mail, but I don't. That
yeah, the voice was good,
Thanks.
man.
Yeah, Thanks. Been working on that. We've kind of fine tuned, and we're doing a little more real estate.
Yeah,
we're seeing if people like that more than just us telling them how to be leaders and stuff. But it all correlates.
It does. 100%.
It all correlates well. But yes, we are going to be talking about, as you saw the title. This is no spoiler. 7 things your realtor wants you to know. We are realtors, by the way.
Right.
That's the House Dads marketing there.
If you didn't know.
The theme line.
Yeah.
If you're looking to buy or sell,
call Rhett.
Call Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
We're a team here. But no, so I kind of thought of this topic because, we might get a little heated other than this physical heat we feel right now. It's a popular meme going around. It's just a thing you are being hit in the face with. And that is the topic of tipping.
Yeah.
Should you tip? How much should you tip? Why am I tipping? Why should I tip? Every time you go somewhere, you got somebody flipping a thing and saying, hey, what tip would you like to leave? And you're like, what? Why?
And we've never been asked this question so much before.
No.
Like, how did people survive until this day? But I just, one of my favorite places for lunch, kind of a little guilty pleasure because it's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
It's healthy, and that's how it usually goes.
Piccadilly.
But I usually pack my lunch and all that different stuff, but they just, and I'm not going to name names because I'm still debating on, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
But they just switched their system. And as soon as I go and I do order my deal and stuff, and he turns around and is like, oh, hey, we got this new system.
Bloop.
And there's the question.
Would you like to leave us a tip for doing the things we've done before without a tip?
Literally, I was here 2 days ago, and we didn't have this question.
Yeah.
And I feel like y'all were doing all right.
Yeah.
And this little lunch cost me $23. And $23. Now I got to add money to it. And I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
And
there's
so,
a guilt.
like at Starbucks and there, I leave a little something. It's not much.
Really?
Yeah.
Starbucks, I don't know.
But I think kind of from our previous conversation, y'all about to free me from that burden.
Yeah.
Like y'all feel like.
Well, here's the slippery slope about it. Maybe not some of the places you're talking about, but when you sit down and dine, yes, you absolutely tip.
Yeah. And I'm generous with that. I feel like it's a deal that I do no matter what, kind of even depending on quality service.
But I think people label you by how well you tip. Like if you're kind of a regular, people will say, oh yeah, he's a good tipper. Oh yeah, he's a bad tipper.
Yeah.
And that's the pressure.
Yeah.
But the question I have for you, do you tip for takeout? You order it at a restaurant, you go pick it up. Yeah, you got to fill out the same receipt. Do you tip for that?
Yes, I do.
How much?
Very little. I mean, I don't know if it's the right thing. That's why we're talking about what we're saying today is like, as realtors, we want consumers, we want the public to know something. Like, I don't know. I need to know if it's the right thing. But like when I get one of the things that we do often for dinner is just walk-ons because it's close to our house and we can get Courtney likes a salad there. I can get something simple there. And it's already, though, just for her and I, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And I see the lady who took my order. I talked to her on the phone and I talked to her as I walk in. And I know she went and packaged it and make sure it was right and then handed it to me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for me, and I hope this isn't offensive to somebody, but that's not worth a 20% tip.
No.
As if I just sat in the restaurant and they just served me the whole time.
I don't think that's the norm, but I do think they are expecting. Because I just know.
But what's the norm?
But some people are like, they only get paid this much an hour, so they're relying on tips. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know what they're making an hour? Why is it? I know it's an iffy subject.
Yeah, is it our responsibility to do that?
Do you remember when Drew Brees went under the gun a little bit because they said he was a bad tipper, and then he was like, hey, this is takeout, and it was still like $30 or something like that. It was a good tip for takeout.
Pretty solid for takeout for sure.
So yes, we could go into depth about all this, but the point that I wanted to say was like, I really wish there was some sort of source or thing for me to go to that laid out, hey, here's the norm or the
Yes.
common courtesy for takeout,
Right.
for this style restaurant,
Right.
for drive-through, because I would be more aware and I would know. Like, they don't let us know these things.
Yeah, and I think the Starbucks conglomerate can handle our backlash, but they are so proud about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
And it's like, man, when you're in the drive-through line and they handing you the deal,
Yeah.
and it's like, here's my tip options, and it's only what 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
or custom, and it's like,
Custom.
here
Always
you
hit
go,
that
do your
custom.
deal. Okay, I'll
What you mean
customize it. But it's in your face,
Yeah,
man. It's like, I don't know it.
But
It's tough, man.
it's like the pressure of we have to know it, and some people are like get really heated, like you need to. I was like, how am I supposed to know? I don't know. I wish there were a source to tell us what we need to know and what the norm is for those situations. So that led to the topic, right?
Yep.
What we as realtors would love for you as a
Yes.
consumer or just a general, we want
Right.
what you want you to know.
Right.
This is going to be a good thing to return to for you to know
Yeah.
these things.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but yeah, getting into it, kind of going into, because sometimes we do like consultations with people and sellers or buyers. Do you do like buyer consultations?
Yeah, I still do them almost every buyer that I have.
Couldn't really do it during COVID. You could,
Yeah.
but it involves slowing the process down.
Yeah, I
and
really
sitting.
just did during showings.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I would just take advantage of that. So, I mean, basically, if I get a pre-approval, then we're doing a buyer's consultation, or we'll do it all together at the first showing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we love to try to do those.
Right.
Of course, some people come to us and they're in a hurry. There's urgency. So we have to kind of do a little micro consultation. But either way, during consultations, when I'm saying buyers, because buyers, especially first-time home buyers, they don't know anything.
Sure.
Sellers, sometimes they've gone through the process, they know. But throughout 12 years in real estate, I have made a list or some things to say during those consultations of, hey, here's expectations of what to expect. Here's kind of the process. We're kind of setting the stage and telling you things you didn't know. But there's some things that are a little behind the scenes. Maybe we assume you would know, but you don't. So this is just kind of us setting the stage for some of those things.
Right. Like, so what I wish the restaurant industry would have about like just a guide to what they would expect from us for when I order takeout or for when I go through fast food or when I go through the Starbucks line. What this is a list that we could have probably done 1,000, but this is the list of 7 things that we wish as realtors that the public or that you would know.
Yes. And we don't necessarily expect you to know, which, you're not in our industry. We do this every single day and we've done it repeatedly and we've seen a lot of things. We've been hurt by a lot of things. So, but yes, we have chosen 7 things that we wish you knew about realtors in our industry and the process.
I'm interested to see what other realtors have to say about this too.
Yeah.
So I think as a realtor, I think there's plenty of you watching. I want to see what you would maybe add to this list.
Yes.
Or as a realtor, you're like, oh, you know what? That's a good thing I need to work into my buyer's consultation.
Yes.
So if you're a realtor watching, as you're listening through this, that's what I would recommend for you is like, oh, wait, I need to make sure I'm having those conversations with people so that I'm not having to pick up the mess of it later.
And, in making this list, I did my best to not make it this huge vent session, right? I know that there's things that annoy us or like frustrate us. But at the end of the day, this is an emotional time for people. Yeah. So there's going to be some like selfish decisions or things said that they don't necessarily mean or just things done out of negligence.
Right.
So this is, keeping in mind, I wasn't trying to vent, but there are some things that may seem, I don't know. You'll see as we go down this. But let's start. Number 1, everybody is looking around online for houses. When they start looking for a house, they are starting online, the Zillows, the Realtors, all of that. But the one thing we want you to know is that when you click on things in those sites, those online portals for more information, or if you want to schedule a showing, it is a roll of the dice with who you're going to be talking to on the other end. I feel like the perception a lot of people think is they're going to talk to Zillow. They're going to be talking to a Zillow rep. Right? No. Whenever you click those things, you are being routed to an agent who is paying for those leads.
Right.
And I'm not going to say everybody that you get on the other line, every agent you get is going to be a bad one. I'm saying it's a roll of the dice.
Correct. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get.
You don't know who you're going to get. You don't know if they're paying for the leads. Sometimes they see that as like I got to close the deal because I'm paying for these leads.
Yep.
We should have the mindset of serving you first. So, if we ever get a little in crunch time financially, you could be, dealing with an agent who's trying to close the deal rather than serve their, your best interest.
Yes.
But it's important for you to know you are not getting Zillow.
Right.
I'm not going to say again, our team is on Zillow. Our team is on Realtor.com. Not knocking that altogether. There's
Right.
going to be some agents who come at me for that. But, if you get one of our agents, you get one of Brandon's agents, you're going to get a good agent. But I can promise you too, there's some other agents I don't want to talk bad about them.
Sure.
You may not have chosen them from the beginning.
Yeah, this is like life was like a box of chocolates type of deal. You don't know what you're going to get. You just kind of bite into it and see what happens. So when you get that click on the other side, or when you get that call after you requested some more information or want to see that property or something like that, it's going to be important for you to really have a honest conversation with that agent, feel that agent out to make sure that they know what they're doing. They're going to properly protect you and that they're going to take care of you and put your best interests ahead of theirs.
And if you have an agent already, don't click at all.
Yes. And that leads us to our second point. So, the second point is, and I'm going to explain you something here.
Yeah, it's broker Brandon here.
About procuring cause, right? So this is a perfect segue from point one for two about procuring cause. And procuring cause, like just the formal definition, would be a series of events that's initiated by the real estate agent who ultimately leads to the sale or to the closing of a house. And if you, the buyer, right, or if you are the buyer, use or talk to more than one agent, it muddies up the chain, or it muddies up that procuring cause, that sequence of events that determines who led or who led to that sale of the house, and it ultimately determines who gets the commission, and it can be difficult.
Yes.
Right. And so if you are an agent, or if you have an agent, or if you want to use a certain agent, see houses with them.
Yes.
Right. Click on their website.
Yeah.
Go to them about the house that you saw on Zillow, right? And not somebody else. And this isn't to say that if you're not happy with the agent that you're with, stick with them. But it's very important right now, and we would kind of put this with a 2A, that if you're unhappy with the agent that you're with, don't ghost them. Have a conversation with them about it, right? Or don't be shady about it and then just go hop on other websites and then find out another agent that's not going to take care of you well. Have an honest conversation with the agent that you're working with to say, hey, look, I so much appreciate your time, but I'm just going to go in a different direction.
Yeah. And like, again, to sum it up, if all that, legality talk was over your head.
Procuring cause, what?
Procuring cause is, you're like, what is that? If you want to see a house, see it with the agent you want to use.
Yeah.
You probably had this happen. I get people call me and they say, hey, we want to buy a house. We just saw it. We want to put an offer in. And I'm like, whoa, how did you see it? They're like, well, we called the agent on the sign. Or
and Brandon said he could just show it to him himself.
Yes, the agent showed it to me. But either way, they saw it with another agent. And then at that point, I have to say, hey, go into just procuring cause and say, look, I have to have a conversation with the agent who saw it, because technically,
and it can get really sticky.
It can, especially from a broker. You've probably seen a lot of
That's where
things.
I have a ton of debates. It can get really even sticky within an office or with a team or all those different things, but across different offices. Man, when you call and you say, hey, I just saw this house, and we ask where you saw it, and another agent showed it to me. When we call that other agent and we're second place now, and we're trying to play catch up, it leaves us in a really difficult position if you want us to represent you.
Yes.
And so in conclusion of procuring cause, again, the agent that you want to work with, call them to see the house.
Yes.
Don't matter whose sign is in the yard. Don't matter if there's no sign in the yard. Call the agent you want to see the house with.
Yes.
Close the house with.
Yes. Sheesh. Yeah, that was probably a lot, but either
it's important.
way, it is important. We see that so many times. So number 3, we're not hourly or salary employees. This sounds kind of tacky in the sense of like, hey, how do we get paid?
That's important.
A lot of people have that question. How exactly do realtors get paid? I feel like we oftentimes can be taken advantage of in the sense of, and I'm not playing the victim card or pity party, but sometimes there's two sides of the spectrum of how we get maybe taken advantage of with our time. People just assume we get paid hourly or we're going to get paid regardless. So they're okay with, hey, let's go see 17 houses in one day. Or let's go see something at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Like they just assume they're helping us because they're giving us more work. I don't know. So they kind of take advantage of it because they assume we're getting paid. On the other side, people have this perception of we're just raking in the dollars. Like, all these TV shows are giving us the perception that we got these Bugattis and we're doing all these deals.
I woke up in a new Bugatti.
It's a great classic song, by the way.
Yeah.
So they oftentimes take advantage of us in the sense of, all right, they're going to make a bunch of money. I'm going to take advantage of them and their time, and I'm going to make them work for it, kind of thing. The way that we are paid is it comes. Broker Brandon can I've labeled you Broker Brandon.
I love that.
He can clarify if there's better terms for it or better words for it. But we get paid from the seller's proceeds at closing. When a deal closes, the chunk of money that's going towards the seller, we get a portion from that, and we don't get it until closing day.
Right.
That is one of the risks. We're 100% commission jobs. Like we're 1099 employees. We don't get paid until closing day. So some people are confused on, hey, we'll just use and abuse this agent. They're going to get paid regardless, or hey, they're making a bunch of money. And I guess going into the bunch of money thing, how many splits are being taken from our check to where, we're not making as much as you think.
That's right. How many fees do we have to pay? How much licensing do we have to pay? How much taxes comes out of all of that? So it's I wouldn't do it if it wasn't profitable. And we're so thankful to do it. But it's not just, we getting every penny of that and keeping it.
Yeah, I think this industry is under a lot of scrutiny with paying and how we get paid and how much we get paid. So it's a hot topic, but that's one thing that we would like waitresses and waiters, like, oh, they get paid this much an hour, so you got to give them this is us telling you how we get paid.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So
open book.
Yep.
So the next one, number 4, you don't have to attend the home inspection, right? Now, it's highly advised that you do. But the point is you don't have to attend the entire home inspection, right? You have the right to go to the whole thing, okay? And we would never keep you if you say, no, I'm going to be there for every single moment that inspector steps foot on my property, and I'm going to watch them because my dad used to build houses in Vietnam.
In Vietnam.
Right? You know better than the home inspector and all that different stuff. Yeah. And you want to be there and you want to tell him how to do his job. That's fine. Okay. But, the home inspector is real well qualified and there for a reason. So what we recommend is you to show up towards the end of the home inspection appointment, and we can consult depending on the type of house and all that different stuff, how long that would normally work, but show up at the end. Get the highlights from the home inspector. It gives you another chance to measure things and take more pictures and maybe show a friend. Or this is a good time to use the home inspection appointment to maybe if you got a contractor that you need to get out there we had this just happen yesterday at an inspection. She said, I need my contractor to come out to measure for new countertops. Fantastic. Let's schedule it for that last 30 minutes of the home inspection. So we're not uprooting the seller twice just to go over there for some different measurements. But, it saves you a lot of time to show up to the home inspection, and we're going to twiddle our thumbs together for an hour and a half and
or more.
I can't get work done. No.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. But it's like we can't, be more productive with our time instead of spending an hour and a half together, 2 hours together while the home inspector's doing his job.
Yeah, we don't want to sound like, we want you to do what you feel is great and necessary. But more times than not, people have showed up. I want to be there the whole time. 10 minutes in, they're like,
yo, what do I do?
I kind of told you we'd be standing around here doing nothing. So now we got a small talk for an hour. And,
yes. Yes.
But yes, you don't have to attend the entire home inspection.
Right.
Number 5, maybe this is just kind of on me, and this is not in regards to every agent, but stick to the process and let your agent guide you.
It's good.
All right. That's hard to do. Like I said, this is an emotional thing.
Right.
And I am a very systems and processes guy. We got templates for your emails to update you. Like my goal is for you not to have to ask questions.
Right.
I want you to feel like you are kept in the loop. But sometimes you get some antsy people, man.
Yeah, some type A people.
Yeah. Like
trying to take the lead.
They want to know, which I get. They want to know every step of the way. And not every agent is going to update you like they should. So I guess, if you got an agent like that, you got to do that. But if you're working with Brandon or I, we're going to let you know what you need to know when you need to know it.
Yeah.
So one example, and I get it. It's so exciting when you put an offer in on a house, right? Especially if it's a multiple offer. And, I submit it and I'm like, hey, I just submit it. I'll let you know as soon as I hear something back. Okay, awesome. 10 minutes later. Hey, did you hear something? I have not. I have not heard anything. I'm going to let you know as soon as I hear something back. An hour later. Hey, any word? No, I I get it. You're excited. And, sometimes I want to say, you know what? Now that you reminded me, yeah, I did hear back. Which
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, I totally forgot to tell you. But no.
We didn't get it.
Trust your agent to have these processes. You don't have to, of course, ask questions. We're not saying don't do that. But there is a process. Let your agent guide you. That's what we're here for. That's what we earn these vet checks, right?
One of my favorites is in the first week is like, hey, I'm going to start working on the transfer utilities.
Don't do that.
We have so much time.
Yes. That is one of our processes. The week of closing, we send you an email. Here's the utilities. So when you ask us a week into the process, what's like, okay. But
you like to have your ducks in a row.
Yes,
I appreciate
absolutely.
your preparedness and your eagerness and ready to go. But just let us lead you. We got you. The next one, and this is one that I'm a little bit more passionate about than others, is I'm going to start asking my lenders to probably put it on their pre-approval. May not be able to get a loan. No, that'll probably violate some laws. Yeah. No, number 6 is use an iPhone. Okay? Just do it. Don't be weird.
Do we need to explain?
Be weird. When I text you and it's green, I really wonder, are you real?
Are you going to get it? Does your phone work?
Is it spam?
Do I need to email you?
Is this a landline? Is this TTY? Like, are you about to type me back?
Yeah.
I just don't know what to expect with you green messengers. And I got some clients out there that are green messengers, and I love you. I just don't like you. You know what I'm saying? So switch on over.
Yeah, just do it.
Everybody's done it. I know they got tons of money.
I know you
big Apple guys,
cool
but
features.
It just, man, when I send you a message and it's like delivered, I'm like, they got it.
Yes,
for sure. And when like I have a form and it's just a quick little thing that you just maybe need a reference through text message, and I could just deliver it to you with an easy text, and I know that you got it as well, as opposed to a return message, because the dang green texters don't get it. And I already know, because we talked about this in something else, and I got some backlash, and they were like, it's all because Apple won't work with the other people to integrate and all that different stuff. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm Apple, I'm not doing it either.
Yeah, they're doing it right.
Switch on over so that House Dad's podcasting can convert some more people to Apple.
Amen, brother.
I'm passionate. We want you to use an iPhone.
There's a level of grace to that. We're just kind of playing.
Yes.
We're happy to work with everybody.
Tongue-in-cheek, for sure.
But at the same time, we're a little more happy to work with blue texters.
Yeah, no. I'm joking. But for real, switch.
Yes. Going on to number 7, our final one. Communicate anything and everything to us. That is just a life lesson. That's not necessarily something realtors need to know. Communication is key, even if it's bad news.
Yeah.
When you are buying a house or just selling a house, in general, you're doing a real estate transaction, we kind of need to know, your motivation, your reasons, your circumstances.
Right.
We kind of need to know the nitty-gritty because we can better serve you. Like if you need to sell in a matter of a time because you're maybe a little financial trouble, like don't be embarrassed. We kind of need to know that.
Right.
There's certain things that help us do our job better if you communicate that to us.
Right.
On the flip side, or really on the same side, bad news. We want to be communicated to if you're going another route, like Brandon said earlier in the episode. If you're like, hey, we decided to use, like, I appreciate that they did this. I'm not saying it didn't sting.
Sure.
Had a past client who helped them buy. They lived there for 5 to 6 years. They got to know another agent pretty well. They were friends with
working with them.
Yeah. And so they called me before No. That was Brandon, by the way. No, I'm kidding. But another circumstance, the clients called me and said, hey, just want to let you know, we're actually going to be putting our house on the market and we're going to be using the agent. They go to church with us. We just kind of got to know him pretty well. I respected the crap out of that, man.
Yeah. No,
I'm a little
appreciate
upset because I didn't get to help you, but at the end of the day, it's all about relationships.
The reason, like you didn't mess it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If I were to see their house hit the market and like, I'd be like, what did I do wrong? What's going on?
You
like
didn't know that connection.
They communicated that to me So even if it's bad news, I mean, just be a normal, courteous person.
That's right.
You know, just let us know what you're thinking, what you're doing, because it makes things just go that much more smooth.
That's right. I had a circumstance recently where the closing date that we originally had set ended up lining up on a family member's funeral. And they didn't want to tell me about the funeral because they were worried about moving the closing date and all these different stuff. And I'm like, man, we can move the closing date a day. You know, especially as early, they knew about a week and a half in advance. It was an elderly person had passed, and so they had it kind of a little bit scheduled, if you will. And they didn't want to mention it and how inconvenient it was. And they came to the closing right after the funeral. And I'm like, man, we could have done this different if you just would have told me.
For sure.
You know, so communicate that stuff.
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
help. We can help.
A team member on our team, she just closed and she sold a client's house, and she was like, "Hey, you guys like before?" She was like, "Are you guys going to be buying something?" And they said, "Yeah, we're kind of looking at. We're not really sure." They just kind of like, you know, you could tell they weren't
Tiptoed
quite.
around it.
They tiptoed around it for sure. Closing day, the title company says something along like, "Do you need a good funds letter for your next closing?" And she's, you know, afterwards she's like, "Hey, what's up?" They're like, "Yeah, we ended up just buying our neighbor's house, you know, no agent involved." She was like,
"It's fine.
I'm happy for you.
That's right.
Tell me that."
Yeah,
like, you don't have to keep it a secret. So
yeah.
there's plenty of examples of that,
Yes.
of stuff of you just need to communicate. Just talk to us.
That's right.
We're normal people.
That's
We
right.
want to be relational with you. So
That's right.
but yeah, you know, every once in a while I'll vent. That's kind of the 7 steps. But every once in a while I'll vent to Brandy and like, you know, things that we're going through, and she just have to remind me of like, hey, they don't know. You can't be so mad. You know, they don't know these things. So this was our attempt to just give you a few things that we do wish you knew. And, you know, I think it'll make things go smoother for you.
Thank God you have Brandy and Brandon in your life.
Yeah. The brands.
I love that for you. But and I'm thankful that you have us in our life. And that didn't work.
Nope.
Sorry. What a way to do an
Your
outro. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend. And we're glad that we are in your life. There we go.
There it is.
And that you let us by doing this and sharing this with you. I think this is going to be helpful for a lot of people, for realtors as well, to implement this stuff in your consultations, implement this in your systems, that you're hitting these touch points all the way throughout the process so that you're not having to pick up these messes, right?
Sure.
Like you can communicate these things professionally and tastefully so that you don't have to have a mess, and so that you don't have to send this disclaimer later and be like, man, I wish y'all would have known this. And if you're watching this and you're not a realtor, well, then you're welcome.
Yeah.
Saved yourself a few questions maybe throughout the process, and saved yourself a little bit of a headache.
Saved your realtor a headache too.
That's right, for sure. Anything else you want to add?
That's good.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you next time.
See you later.